Great morning, world. It's your boy Dragon coming at you with another 10-minute Rise Up timestamp. It is April 11th, 2022. That's pretty crazy. So, as a quick reminder, it is the goal of this podcast to remove the blindfolds of your mind so that you can gain access to higher levels of consciousness and tap into your true great potential. How do we do this? We do it with our podcast, our weekly blog called The Dragon's Lair, One from the Vault, and our upcoming online courses and books. Welcome, my friends, to another Rise Up with Dragon.
Great morning, world! Welcome to the Rise Up with Dragon podcast with your host, Dragon!
Very excited about this episode today. It is called Something to Believe in. Give me something to believe in. And as a quick reminder, the Rise Up with Dragon podcast is sponsored by none other than Calm Mind.
Get into the float state with Calm Mind meditations and gear.
All right, awesome. So a couple of quick little dragon thoughts before we jump into this episode called Something to Believe in. The first thing that I was checking out this morning, and when I say checking out, just, I'm always in observation of my intentions and what I think is true and reality and all that. And that'll feed into what we're talking about today. But I've been doing this for, God, at least 10 years. And I just continue to do it. And I was just talking to Chicken this morning and I was like, sometimes I wonder, why do I do this? Because I'm like, it's time to do another Rise Up. And it's crazy how many people listen to this. As a matter of fact, Chicken and I celebrated her birthday. Happy birthday, my love. And we were getting out of our car the other night in New York City. And as I'm getting out of the car, this guy walks out, shout out to our friend John, who looks at us and he goes, "Are you Dragon?" And he recognized us. It was just so crazy. This guy walking down the street with a beer in his hand, and he was like, "Oh my God, it's Chicken." So it's crazy that we've had an impact on other people, but that's not why. That wasn't the intention. The intention wasn't to have an impact. It's more of a selfish thing. And what I mean by selfish, because that's not a bad word in my vocabulary. It's just something that I do on a regular basis for personal growth, to practice my craft. And the best thing that I can explain is something I pulled from Wayne Dyer one time when he was talking about his daughter, who is just a fantastic singer. And he said he wanted to make sure that he didn't die with his song inside him. So I think that's the main reason why I do this on a regular basis. The idea of finding out that it's helping other people is just fantastic. So getting ready to go do a little bit of touring. I'm going to do some, I guess we'll call it Midwest. Is it Midwest or no, Midwest touring. We're going to go visit some friends and we're going to do some talks, but I'm also getting ready to go to Berlin and France. I'm taking my son with me as well. And I'm going there with the intention of finishing the book. The book is just amazing. Very, very excited about what's happening with that book. So let's get into our little 10-minute Rise Up in this little urgency of time that we have. And I call this Something to Believe in. So as you guys know, this is 10 minutes just to juice you for the day. I am unusually fascinated with the concept of consciousness. And what I mean by that is, I'm just always in observation of what it is and where does it come from. And as you know, that's gives rise to this thing called the hard problem of consciousness, is nobody really knows that. But due to the fact that, the greatest minds of our time, this is what I find interesting, because as we move into this space of something to believe in, a lot of the things that we believe in are completely disproven by the greatest minds, but we'll still believe in unbelievable stuff. So, what I can't believe is, due to the fact that some of the greatest minds of our time, past and present, can't figure out this problem of consciousness. So that's why I'm so fascinated by it. So this problem of not understanding something, and even the smartest people can't understand it, It forces us as humans to do something that we do best when we actually don't have the facts and the scientific formulas. And there's debate whether or not that is even factual. But when we don't have that stuff, the mathematics, the scientific formula, the facts to prove something, what we do is we have a tendency to make shit up. We make it up, right? Our own version of what we think. And this is a cool focus to unpack today as it unveils our intense need. This is what we do as humans. We have this intense desire and need to make sense of things, even in the absence of factual data to back it up. Think about that. Why do we have such an intense need to make sense of things that we will go and make something up to help us interpret them? So without stepping on anybody's toes, I always make sure that the Rise Up with Dragon podcast and our focus doesn't like really dig at anybody, because I don't think it's nice when you dig at people. And I've done a lot of podcasts and episodes on just the observation of the unconscious behavior of human beings when they go out and make a statement and they put an exclamation point at the end because they want to share their made up beliefs, right? It's an unconscious thing because they're unconsciously hurting other people. So I want to make sure I don't step on anybody's toes or any groups or factions. Listen to this. Groups or factions that live their lives around certain core beliefs out there that are made up, right? So, I'll invite you to challenge your beliefs today. That's all I want to do is I just want to push you into this space where you're going to challenge and observe, challenge things. Because if you ever identify some bullshit in your life, it might help you. So I'll invite you to challenge your beliefs and see if they are based on actual data or based on interpretation, your own interpretation and perception with a side order of pre-programmed cognition from others that shared unfactual things with you. Dig on that. Feel that for a second. Just assess something today that you claim to believe in. You might even call it a core value. And just assess if it's actually based on fact or if it's based on your interpretation of reality or your perception or something somebody else taught you. You might be caught up in the herd mentality where people that you associate with and appreciate believe in something and you just get on board. And listen, you don't have to tell anybody. If you've been out there protecting your stance and your core beliefs, I get it. I've done this too. But what I'm saying is when you're all quiet and alone in your room, assess whether or not there's a little bit of bullshit in there. So my intention of this Rise Up is not to call bullshit on anybody's bullshit. That's not what I want to do because it's all bullshit, right? I have my own big bag of bullshit that I carry around. And the reason why I carry it around and why it's helpful is it helps me interpret the things that don't make sense in the world. Right? I'll pull something out, a belief system, a core belief or something in an almost survivalistic way to help me, almost like a calculator figuring out a formula to help me figure out things that are unfigureoutable. And guess what? I like my bullshit. I like it and I will defend it. But what I try to do is not think that it is as factual as I love to just acknowledge the fact that I've made it up for the most part, with some help from some of you. So I refer to this ability that we all possess. We all possess this ability where we can believe in things without proof. I call it fundamental irrationality. And I get into that in my book. Fundamental irrationality. Here's what that is. That means believing in otherwise unbelievable things. Why would we do this? Why would we believe in things that are not backed by fact or that don't have anything to prompt us believing in them? Unbelievable things. Well, I mean, heck, we even talk about dreaming big. We even talk about going beyond what we think is possible and dreaming big. Why would we do this? Well, it gives us something to believe in. And there's the topic of the day. It gives us something to believe in, and that helps us make sense of stuff. Now, that is what we do rather than having nothing to believe in. And the problem with having nothing to believe in is it doesn't give you any of the tools that you need to make sense of this nonsensical world. So rather than nothing. So my intention here is not to take this away from you. as if I could. Rather to unveil this and open it up. That's what it means to unpack. Unveil this so you can awaken to the fact that we all get to create our own realities, right? And you may defend your facts. We're talking about the defense mechanisms that we have. Chicken was talking about that today, that we all defend. It's like a coping mechanism sometimes, but we might defend our facts. But behind closed doors, without being challenged, you and I both know, we both know, meaning me and you, that these things that we believe in are more beliefs than facts. And guess what? I don't know how important facts are when you look at it from this standpoint. If I'm just looking to do the best that I can and move forward in life today, I'm going to make shit up to help that along, right? So it's called free will that we have. And I believe that God and the universe gave us free will to help us, because they love us, both of them. The big guy in the sky, whatever you call it, gave us free will to help us make sense of an otherwise unsensical reality. So I just want you to recognize, if you really, really dig down deep into the research that I'm doing about the universe and how, the unlikelihood that we're living on this planet that is part of just a massive, immeasurable galaxy, and then the idea that there's trillions of other galaxies, right? That's way, way too much. If you even just learned how your computer worked, you probably, or if it even existed, we know about simulation theory, I think you'd be overwhelmed. So we come up with these things to help us kind of navigate and make sense of otherwise unsensical reality. And I think that's a good thing, because if you knew everything, it would be too much. I like the idea of, well, we actually have this idea, and we've been brought up thinking that there is this almighty power that is all knowing. Think about that. Here we are saying that we don't know even a fraction of everything, but it's okay because there's an almighty power, and we all have different versions of looking at that. Even people that don't believe in God, there is this universal force that is all knowing. I like that idea myself. Now, it's not based on fact, right? It's just an idea. I like that idea because it makes me feel safe, right? So there's an example of me catching myself believing in something, and maybe even to the point where I'll defend it, but I'm using that as a way of interpreting an unsensical world. So I encourage you today to take advantage of this ability that you have to make shit up, right? Take advantage of this and choose your fantastic reality, which is implying that it is somewhat of a fantasy, to choose wisely, right? Choose your beliefs wisely and in a way that supports your dreams and advancement towards them. Try to follow this. It doesn't make sense to get caught up in controversial, non-factual beliefs that don't support your desired state. It does make sense to get caught up in controversial, non-factual beliefs that do support your dreams. Can you dig that? If you're going to make shit up, make sure that it is in support of moving you forward and also not getting in the way of others. Catch yourself today believing in shit that doesn't help you or others and just doesn't simply matter, right? Because that's like a glitch in your system. You can fix that. You might have your write protect on your floppy disk, rewrite that program. You don't have that kind of free time, my friend, to just waste on getting in the way of others or getting in the way of yourself. You don't have that free time. So let that shit go. So want something to believe in today? Well, the choice is yours. Design your life as you wish and set up your beliefs to support that reality. Does that make sense to you? I love and appreciate you all. There's been another Rise Up, and I love you. Have a wonderful day.